See, just showing up and doing the thing is far more important than the intensity or duration. Build the muscle of showing up first.
Okay.
As that small habit becomes more ingrained, more automatic, then you can gradually build upon it. Increase the time, add another habit, etc.
That feels much less overwhelming. Start with one single thread and just weave it consistently into the fabric of your routine.
Exactly. Build momentum slowly but surely.
Okay, great advice. We've looked at the power of mindset, the importance of discipline. Now let's pivot and talk about potential pitfalls. What are some common mistakes you see that can really derail someone's progress, even if they have a good mindset or some initial motivation?
Yeah, there are several common stumbling blocks, but let's focus on three particularly significant ones we see often. The first is a surprising lack of investment in personal growth.
Really? How so?
Successful people, almost universally, prioritize continuous learning and skill development. They know that improvement is essential, especially in a fast-changing world, so they actively seek out opportunities, reading, courses, mentorship, even just trying new
They
things.
see it as an investment, not an expense.
That's the crucial distinction, yes. Viewing self-improvement as an ongoing investment in their most valuable asset themselves. Neglecting that is a big mistake.
Makes perfect sense. Like letting a valuable tool get rusty. Okay, what's another mistake that often trips people up?
The second common mistake is waiting. Waiting for the mythical perfect moment to take action.
The "I'll start when" syndrome.
Precisely. I'll start that project when I have more time. I'll pursue that goal when the kids are older. I'll launch when the market is just right.
Yeah, we've all been there.
The hard reality is that ideal conditions rarely, if ever, materialize. Successful individuals understand this. They're willing to take action despite uncertainty, despite imperfection. They embrace the idea that learning and refinement happened through the process of doing, not before it.
So waiting for perfect is really just a subtle form of procrastination.
Often, yes, it paralyzes action.
That's a tough one because there's a natural human tendency to want everything perfectly aligned before taking a risk or starting something new.
Absolutely. It feels safer. But growth rarely happens in the safety zone.
True. Okay, what's the third significant mistake you observe?
The third critical mistake, and it might seem counterintuitive to some, is living beyond your financial means. Or perhaps just not being mindful enough about finances.
How does that relate directly to success beyond just, being broke?
Well, it might seem surprising, but a significant number of highly successful individuals, especially those who've built their wealth steadily over time, practice a really high degree of frugality. It's a lesser-known secret sometimes.
Frugality. Like they're cheap.
Not necessarily cheap in a negative sense, but mindful. Think of someone like Warren Buffett. Despite his immense wealth, he famously still lives in the same house he bought decades ago.
Right, the house in Omaha.
Exactly. This mindful approach to spending, focusing on building a solid financial foundation, avoiding unnecessary debt, it frees up resources, reduces stress, and allows for strategic investment, both financially and personally. It's often a key component of long-term success.
So it's about building a sturdy financial base, creating options rather than constantly operating at the edge or being stressed about money.
Precisely. Financial stress drains mental energy that could be used elsewhere.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So for our listener who might be recognizing some of these tendencies, maybe neglecting growth, waiting for perfect, or not being mindful with money, what's one actionable step they can take to begin shifting away from these mistakes?
A really powerful initial step is to conduct a candid, honest review of your current spending habits.
The dreaded budget review.
Maybe not a full budget initially, but just track it. Take a detailed look at where your money is actually going. Use an app, look at statements, whatever works. Identify areas where you might be able to reduce unnecessary expenditures. Even small leaks add up.
Okay, identify the leaks. Then what?
Then make a conscious decision to redirect even a small portion of those savings. Put it towards activities that foster your personal growth. Buy that book, enroll in that online course, or towards investments that can build future financial security. Start building an asset column.
So it's not just about cutting back, it's about reallocating resources strategically.
Exactly. That deliberate reallocation can create a really positive feedback loop for growth and financial well-being.
That's practical and immediately applicable. I like it. Okay, we've explored mindset, discipline, and what to avoid. Now let's focus on the positive, the specific habits, the things that are frequently observed in individuals who achieve significant success. What are some key habits our listener can begin to cultivate?
Right, let's talk about what to do. There are several highly effective habits, but let's focus on four that tend to be particularly impactful. The first is the habit of setting crystal clear goals.
Not just vague wishes.
Exactly. Successful people don't just have fuzzy aspirations like, I want to be rich or I want to be happy. They define their goals with specificity. They write them down. And crucially, they break them down into smaller, actionable steps.
Why is writing them down so important?
It makes them tangible. It forces clarity. And breaking them down makes them less overwhelming and allows you to track progress, which is motivating. It provides a roadmap.
Okay, clarity and a roadmap.
Yeah.
Got it. What's another common habit?
The second crucial habit is intentionally cultivating a supportive network, surrounding themselves with positive, growth-oriented people.
Ah, the Jim Rohn quote, right?
Yeah.
You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That's the one. And successful individuals seem to understand this intuitively or explicitly. They grasp the powerful influence of their social environment and actively seek out relationships with people who inspire them, challenge them constructively, offer encouragement, and hold them accountable.
So consciously curating your circle.
Absolutely. Your environment can either lift you up or, frankly, hold you back. Choosing wisely is a habit.
Makes complete sense. Okay, habit number 3.
The third key habit is the practice of taking calculated risks.
Calculated risks, not just being reckless.
No, definitely not reckless. It's about a willingness to step outside of their comfort zones, but after careful evaluation and consideration of potential outcomes, both upside and downside. Successful people understand that significant growth rarely happens without embracing some degree of uncertainty.
And they see potential failures differently.
Yes, often as learning opportunities rather than catastrophes. It ties back to the growth mindset. They weigh the risks, prepare as best they can, and then take informed action. It's different from impulsive gambling.
Okay, informed action, not impulsive gambles.
Yeah.
Got it. And the fourth impactful habit.
The fourth powerful habit, and one that's gained a lot more scientific backing recently, is the consistent practice of gratitude.
Gratitude. How does that contribute to success?
Well, research has consistently shown that cultivating gratitude, actively appreciating the good things in your life, can lead to numerous benefits. Increased happiness, reduced stress, better sleep, improved resilience.
Wow, okay.
And this positive emotional state, this more optimistic outlook, can in turn fuel motivation, boost creativity, and strengthen persistence when you're pursuing challenging long-term goals. It creates a positive upward spiral.
It's fascinating how a seemingly simple internal practice can have such far-reaching external effects.
It really is. Don't underestimate the power of priming your brain for positivity.
Okay, so for our listener who's inspired to adopt these habits, goal setting, positive network, calculated risks, gratitude, what's one concrete action step they can take right now? Maybe focusing on gratitude, since it seems foundational.
Yeah, gratitude is a great starting point because it's simple and accessible. A very effective way to begin cultivating it is to make it a nightly ritual.
Yeah, like before bed.
Exactly. Before going to sleep, take just a few minutes, literally 2 or 3 minutes, to jot down, either in a notebook or even just mentally note, at least 3 specific things you are genuinely grateful for from that day.
3 specific things.
Specificity helps. Not just my family, but the way my partner listened to me today, or enjoying that cup of coffee this morning, or solving that tricky problem at work. This consistent practice can gradually shift your focus towards the positive aspects of your life and strengthen that optimistic, resilient mindset we talked about.
Fantastic. Simple, powerful. Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We certainly have.
The power of a growth mindset, the absolute necessity of discipline over fleeting motivation, the critical mistakes to be aware of and avoid, and finally, these positive, actionable habits to embrace.
Yeah.
It really underscores the idea that success isn't some mysterious, unattainable lottery prize, does it? It seems much more like a result of deliberate choices and consistent actions over time.
Precisely. And that's the key takeaway, I think. While external factors, luck, circumstances, they certainly play a role, nobody denies that.
Of course.
But the overwhelming evidence from research and real-world examples strongly suggests that sustained financial and personal success is largely a product of the choices you make. Choices about your mindset, your behaviors, the habits you cultivate day after day.
And that understanding is incredibly empowering, isn't it?
It absolutely is, because it puts the agency, the power for change, firmly back in your hands. You're not just subject to fate. You're an active participant in creating your outcomes.
Absolutely. So, for you, our listener, tuning in right now, here's the challenge. Choose just one specific action from everything we've discussed today. Just one thing that you can implement immediately.
Make it real.
Yeah. Will you commit to asking yourself that growth-oriented question tomorrow morning? What can I learn today? Will you identify that one small habit you want to start building consistently? Or maybe you'll take that first step and actually review your spending.
Whatever resonates most.
Exactly. Whatever feels like the most relevant first step for you,
Right.
take that step today. Don't wait. And hey, we genuinely love to hear about your experience. Connect with us. Share your progress. Share what you chose. Let's build a community focused on this kind of intentional growth.
Yeah, that would be great. And just remember, the potential for significant transformation truly does lie within you. You have the capacity to shape your future in really meaningful ways.
Mhm.
So take what you've learned today. Don't just let it be interesting information. Put something into action. We really encourage you to make that future something truly remarkable.
Well said. And we look forward to exploring more insightful topics with everyone in our next deep dive.